We are here, live and direct and in full effect in the city of New York, courtesy of Manhattan. And it's a good vibe. I'm loving the energy out here. This is in celebration of my album, upcoming release called Introspection. And it's a good feeling, you know. It's good to see everybody out here, good to work with family. Just the energy is like just really nice out here. The sun is out. I love the New York ambiance out here. You know, the people moving and you know, the energy is definitely kinetic. I love the vibe out here. Feeling good, you know.
Yo, and so I think what needs to be mentioned right here off top is that for your sophomore effort, you got a master of graphic design, a legend.
Yes.
Comes from you know, his original brand called Wheat Bread.
Absolutely.
To Echo Unlimited, to Echo Red, to Echo Kids, to Rockaware.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's done album covers for Pete Rock, for Lyricist Lounge. Mm-hmm. He's worked with Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And right now, he also did the logo for Masters of the Mix. I mean, my man is very prolific. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you got to do the art?
Well, I'm beyond like blessed and privileged to just get on the phone with the legendary Fuse Green. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we chopped it up. I told him what I was doing, and being that we're both Aquarians, we see things in the same way, artistically, visually, so forth. And I've always admired his work in terms of just detail, structure, color tone, and so forth. And we clicked right away from the beginning. You know what I mean? And when I was doing the album, I sat back and played back a lot of the music, and visually, I felt he could capture the essence of where I was going in terms of energy. And I gave him a call and said, hey man, this is what I'm working on. You know, it would be an honor for you to be a part of this project in terms of the visual aesthetics. And he said, say no more. And we've been basically having meetings back and forth in terms of direction. Even in the album direction, there were certain songs that I was going to omit originally, but as a result, you know, he was like, man, no, put that in there, put some scratches in there too. Because with this album, I really wanted to stretch everybody that is familiar with my sound and what I do. Everybody knows I'm pretty much, I've been in the hip hop arena in terms of beats and so forth. But I wanted to take it a step further beyond just beats. It's about musicality. It's about arrangements, and really celebrate the aspects of what my great grandmother did as a pianist, you know, in terms of arrangement and so forth, and celebrating her at the same time. And I come from boom bap, you know, all of that, you know, but there's more to it. And with this album, he felt as though like, okay, no, like, you come from the hip hop background. It's important for you to put your scratches in there. So I went in and, you know, I got some cuts on there, you know, so I added some scratching elements on that album. And, you know, we just chopped it up in terms of the experience and the direction and the colors of where this album is going. And with that being said, I'm beyond honored and delighted to have Fuse Green on this album in terms of the artwork and even the musical direction in some cases.
Let's talk about why the title Introspection. The last joint was Change the Mood.
Yes.
That was a dope ass album.
Thank you.
Many great cuts on there that I love.
Thank you.
You know my joint is leaving Hollywood for Brooklyn.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That one changed the mood. At that time, I was going through a series, as such as life. You know what I mean? I was going through a series of creative changes at the time, and life changes. You know, but at the time, I don't know. It was more about experimentation. Even on that album, it was a different experience. With this one, here we are. That record came out around about I started recording that around about early 2007, 2006. So that was in the making. And then with that, this was after the 4-Track Minds project. Shout out to my man TIM, you know what I'm saying? When that record came out, it was like, okay, I was really, after 4-Track Minds project came out, I was ready to kind of branch off and do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things where with Introspection, here we are 2019, you know, I kind of fell back musically. I kind of wanted to take in what was going on around me and just kind of going through the various changes and arrangements of life, so to speak. And with that being said, here we are with Introspection. I had to really take an introspective look of where I was and where I am as a man and as a human being in general. With that being said, it's like you're going to go through different changes and so forth, and within the music business and technology and so forth, I grew with that. You know what I mean? Like we're at a time where it's like you basically have no excuse not to make it happen. There was never any excuse anyway, you know what I'm saying? But with technology, it's like it allows you to really stretch out your creativity, you know, if you have it. But with that being said, Introspection was basically a musical diary of various changes that I was going through as a man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, now I'm like compared to Change the Mood, I was vegetarian at the time. But now I'm full vegan, you know, so with that, as you grow and you change your diet, your senses become heightened as a result. So with that, I was able to hear music a lot better, if you will. And, you know, here we are, 2019, and going on to 2020 and beyond. And I'm here to change the mood with Introspection. Here we are.
Word up. So tell me about, you know, as I listen to what you created, what I'm hearing is genre bending. Like, I know you first as a DJ, hip hop, house, funk, you know what I'm saying, and you're a prolific DJ, and that's what people really know you for. And then there's those that know you as a producer. So because I know that your style is eclectic, I feel like that's kind of reflective of your music. So talk to me about, you know, how you would define the genre if you have to describe it to somebody who doesn't know what A-Ski is and what you do.
I would look at it, and it's one of those things where I've tried to break barriers in terms of not classifying myself, but in the terms of generic thinking. Unfortunately, you have to subscribe to that in terms of kind of pinpointing your, you know what I mean? So as a result, I would like to consider myself definitely hip hop rooted, but it's all soul, you know what I mean? Soul, I wouldn't even classify myself as soul because it's like, okay, there, you know, I have house joints on there too. You know, I have jazz joints on there. So I would just say the essence of just honest music. I like to call my music honest music. There's no genre, you know what I'm saying? But to kind of get to the point, you know what I'm saying, because I know everybody's like, okay, dude, what would you classify in the music business? They say, okay, what do you classify yourself as? Better yet, they'll classify it for you. I'd rather leave an open interpretation to the listener, to be honest with you, than to sit here and pinpoint exactly what I do. I'd rather leave that up to the listener and let them judge for themselves than for me to undermine what I'm doing in terms of categorizing myself into one category. I feel it's not fair to the listener, and it's not fair to my life, creatively at least.
Indeed. That's it. Pause. Right. Indeed, that's the sun from Raj G coming to shine on the brother.
My man.
Big up to that, man.
Yeah, man.
So check this out. I understand that you're not defining yourself, but that intro song, what you call that joint?
Afro Blue.
Afro Blue is distinctively hip hop. That old school boom bap. I think you were explaining that came from some '86 shit for you back in the day.
Yeah, it was channeling more of my '95, my phase in '95 and '94. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time. In the early 90s even in some cases, where it was like A lot of jazz samples in terms of Blue Note was heavily used. You know what I mean? A lot of Grant Green, a lot of Lou Donaldson and so forth. And I was really trying to capture that essence in terms of the Afro blues sound. Willie Bobo, Cal Jader, and etc. So even if you listen to the chords, it dances around with that kind of concept. So that's why I named that song Afro Blue, as a tribute to those elders and ancestors that created that sound, but bring a hip hop, a nostalgic hip hop element to it in terms of just, you know, the drum beats and the pattern and such, and it's boom bap as well.
Yeah.
You know, so to celebrate that.
My personal opinion is that that's going to hit hard with a lot of folks, especially old school folks, or people who just really appreciate classical hip hop music. Because what's crazy is the scratches, son. Like, yo, the beat itself is simple boom bap but sick, and then the scratches are masterful. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've got some icons in mind, like the Primo.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, Cut Creator back in the day.
Right.
You know the lineage.
Absolutely.
We are hip hop, so you know the lineage.
And that was an ode to them.
Exactly. And
you know
all I heard when I heard that shit is like, damn, this motherfucker's nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit right here reminds me of what I grew up on.
Thank you.
So I think that, you know, from what I've heard so far, I've got a chance to listen to it. It's got a little something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can let your moms hear it. You can let the youngins hear it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Thank you.
And tell me a little bit more about that. So you came in on some hip hop shit.
Yeah.
You're talking about the jazz, right?
Yeah.
But tell me what songs you would say classify as jazzy on this movie.
I would say 2 a.m. Night Chances. Definitely. That stands out. That was actually one of the ones I spent a lot of time on in terms of arranging, and I play on there as well. That's me. That's everything. All the instruments you hear on there, you know, not to be that guy, but you know what I'm saying?
You gotta be that guy. That's what we're here for. Like, cats need to know how talented you really are.
Thank you.
I can't live in a world where motherfuckers are sleeping on the master, the professor, the dude I call Professor Ace Key.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So just let them know, like, you're not just a dope ass DJ. You're not just a producer and arranger, but you actually play instruments. You do drums, you do keys.
Right. Well, I think, you know, in this era right now, and I came out of the sampling phase of the SP12.
That's hip hop. That's real hip hop.
But, you know, from a creative standpoint, I remember George Clinton saying in an interview many years ago, he said what are they gonna sample next?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what, you know, it's like
using it all up.
Sampling is good, but then where are they gonna stretch it out? So I said, you know what? Let me just go back to my grandmother's songbook and just go back to, and I played by ear. My grandmother would probably kill me if she heard this, you know what I'm saying? But, because she was like always by the book.
It's funny because I know
play by ear.
musicians, that's how y'all do. You got like that, you have the freestyle ability to play by ear.
Yeah, you hear things, you know what I mean? So, but once you understand the basic structure, you can go anywhere. It may not sit well with a traditional musician, so to speak, or a purist, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for the heart. Everything else is for the critics, you know. I never, you know, anything that comes from the heart, you know, you can't deny it.
Indeed.
Anything that's what people gravitate towards. You know, I'll give a good example. You know, Sun Ra, shout out to my man, rest in peace, Ross G. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a huge part of this album as well. Because to kind of go on my man Ross, you know what I'm saying? Me and Ross will always talk about in terms of just not being safe.
Yeah.
You know, and just freeing up, so to speak. And Sun Ra was about that in terms of just like, look, I understand, you know, 4-bar measure. I understand octaves and structure and all that sort of thing, chord structure and melody. But guess what I can do with it? I can stretch it out beyond perception and beyond, you know, what people know it for. And that's what music is about, in my opinion. Like, give your personality. It's not about playing the best. It's about how it feels at the end of the day. you know, and just energy. And to kind of go back into the jazz thing, you know, that's what jazz was about, really. Yeah, with jazz, you know, jazz basically is expression. You know, it's from within. You know, so going back to the concept of the samples and so forth, it was like, okay, let me go ahead and just play out everything and just, you know what I mean? Because it's like, and we're in a very beat-driven generation right now, and I'm happy that everybody is embracing the samples and celebrating the ancestors, you know, that recorded those albums and those songs that we love so dearly. But I feel, okay, so if you really want to take it there, pick up an instrument. Don't be afraid to pick up an instrument. Yeah, we all say, you know, our drum machines are instruments, true indeed, but pick up a traditional instrument. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather come from a perspective of like, if you sample somebody, you're sampling a piece of their soul. You know, as when you take a photograph of someone, that's their soul being transferred into your home. You know what I'm saying? In different stages of life. So it's like you're capturing the essence of where somebody was at that time when you sample them. Right. So I feel it doesn't get any deeper, if you will, when you're sampling from within, or you're coming from within in terms of creativity. And again, it's like, I love cats. I come from that. You know what I'm saying? I used to flip the Herbie Hancock records. You know what I'm saying? The Grover and all that. You know what I'm saying? I still listen. I listen to it for inspiration. But I feel as though at least try to learn an instrument that you feel comfortable with, and teaming up with other musicians as well. You know, to really get to the core and the soul of it, you know. But that's just me.
You know, let me ask you this. With this next CD, this sophomore effort, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where do you, in your heart of hearts, want to see this CD take you in the world? In your personal world, in the physical world, where do you want to see this take you?
Wow. I mean, it's one of those things. I'm gonna let it take me where the universe feels I need to be.